This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Emily Van Dyke. She's got a brand new album, Feeling Myself, coming out, and we are going rapid fire with some great dumb pitches, including quite a few political ones. Would you vote for our current presidential candidates or the Cheesecake Factory? This is a great question, and I really think you're going to love this episode. Here we go, Dumb Pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches with Monica Nevi. I'm Monica Nevi, your host. This is the show where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. I'm so excited for our guest this week. Emily Van Dyke is here with us.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you and you got beautiful flowers behind you, and it's just a whole vibe going right now. Perfect. Well, thank you for doing it. I'm sure you're well aware that it's about bad ideas, but we like to start with some good information about you, some good things going on, so that everyone doesn't think you only have bad ideas. So, very excited. You have a new album coming out with Blonde Medicine called Feeling Myself. When is that out, and where can people find it, and all that stuff?
Album comes out on February 9th, so next week, and pre-orders are open right now, or are out now on Apple Music, Bandcamp, and they'll be streaming on anywhere you stream your streaming next week. So yeah, I'm really excited. It's my debut album. I'm feeling myself. Yes, that's it.
There you go. Debut. Nice. And you're from the Bay Area, is that correct?
I'm originally from Indiana, but I've been in the Bay for 15 years. So I'm actually in Indiana right now in my friend's beautiful office.
Got it, with the floral patterns. Nice. Okay, and did you record it where did you do the album, I guess is the question.
I recorded it at the Independent in San Francisco, which is historically like a really fantastic music venue. But I've done comedy there a couple times, and it's stunning visually, and just the space, the size, and everything was perfect. So I was happy to be back there, and yeah, it's a great venue for anything.
Awesome. Well, then like I needed you to prove it. Okay, well, now we're excited about the album. If it was some shitty other venue, then I don't know, but yeah, it's good. Well, that's great. Okay, well, thank you for being here. And but that's not what this is about. I'm glad you feel good about it. But we want to hear your bad ideas. So what, we kind of sent you the criteria. What did you come up with for bad ideas?
I have, I went into some deep cuts, but I'm going to start just some low level stuff. So like I said, I live in San Francisco, but I'm like a born and raised Midwesterner. So One law that I would like to see changed is the crushed cans and bottle return. When you go and there's only a couple states I looked up. There's 10 states that allow you to return your cans and bottles. And I think that law needs to be changed to all 50 states, because we already pay for the bottle and can return fee. And I feel like a main part of my upbringing was in the garage, just can crushing, just feeling like this is my first job.
You had the one on the wall that was like, you put it up. Yeah, we had one of those too. That's amazing. Okay, I didn't know it was only 10 states. What's the point? You're right. I mean, if my son is 10, if he saw that thing on the wall, he'd be like, is this to torture someone? Which you could probably use it for that. But
100%.
No one's crushing cans anymore, I don't think.
I know. And I think it should not only be a law, but it should have like a whole PR campaign where it's got like some 90s like throwbacks, where it's like a gang of kids on their bicycles with like a radio strapped to the front.
Yeah.
And they've got like a trash bag full of crushed cans on the back. And it's like, they're going to get their $3.10 to go buy more cans. I don't have it all
I don't know what you did with the money, but I
feel like it's like an early workforce development type situation where you're like, let's get these kids hooked on, working,
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I think you're onto something with the 90s nostalgia, because that's popular right now, is to be like, hey, remember when in the 90s when you were not old yet or whatever? And,
you remember when your Jinko jeans used to get caught in your bike chain and about kill you on the downslope?
Yep, they were all ripped at the bottom because of it. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Well, I mean, you talking about, like, me and my brother did that. We would go and collect all the cans, like, in the neighborhood, put them in a bag, and then our mom would drive us to the thing, and they'd, like, shoot into the thing and count it and whatever, and I loved it, which is a
It's
weird
like
thing
the
to
original
love.
Point Star.
Yes, it's like, I mean, honestly, we didn't really do video games that often. That was just as entertaining, I feel like. Whatever.
Yeah, that's sad. I had Duck Hunt. I don't know how old you are, but I was like, man, crushing cans is kind of a little bit more entertaining than
It's
Duck Hunt.
better than Duck Hunt. I mean, I agree. We had Duck Hunt too, but yeah, I've come to terms. So my brother's like a lot older than me. He's like 9 years older than me. So I've come to terms with the fact that I know some older things than maybe my exact age range because of that, and also didn't have money to get like the newest things. So we had like the, whatever the hand me down was. So I can't ever be exact about like, oh, this came out then, and I'm like, we got Duck Hunt in '99. Shit.
You know what? That's okay. I had a black and white TV with an Atari, probably when everybody was
Nice.
playing Nintendo. So
There you go.
don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about it. It's
I
all
feel
coming
okay.
back.
Thank you. You made me feel better about it.
You ready for another one?
I'm ready for number 2. Let's do it.
I think this one would, divorce rates are going up. I think this one would lower divorce rates. I'm thinking a mild shock device for when a husband is on his phone too long during a poop.
Ooh, okay. Just specifically during a poop or ever. So, okay.
Just specifically during the poop, I think let's sell it there. That's the sell point.
Okay.
But
how that evolves is up to them.
that's right.
Okay, so give us a run through of what happens when he actually gets shocked. Like, how long would it need to be, and those types of things for the shock to come into play.
I'm a humanitarian, so I would just say just a light shock, but I think that most of the men that I know would take a shock to stay on the phone. So you might have to give them the high voltage right off the top.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want one of those again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like there's anytime you really need something from a man, he's always pooping, or elongating the poop with the phone game.
Okay, so is that a thing we're running into, is like just kind of staying on the toilet so they can be on the phone even though maybe it's not necessary? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and I think this is a generational thing, because I definitely remember my dad like having his alone time in the bathroom, and he had like a stack of magazines that were like whatever the motorcycle magazines and Sports Illustrated, whatever, and he was just like literally like it was like library time. And I remember my mom
like sitting there. Okay.
Cooking, dinner's ready, dinner's getting cold, and it's like, yo, come on, we got to get out of the bathroom there. Right. Everybody knows.
I know, well, my dad had a very regular schedule. Like, it was like he got up in the morning and that's when he pooped, and that was the end of it. Like that was as far as I knew. And maybe at work at some point, but he's been retired now for a bit. I am married, but to a woman. So we, she's on her phone just out in the open.
Yeah.
But I get it. Like, you could, if we want to weaponize the incompetence that I've heard about in heterosexual marriages, that would be an easy way to be like, what, I was pooping. I couldn't help because I was, but then they're too bored, so they need to be doing something. So then you're like, hey, I like it. I'm not opposed, but I don't have a husband to keep in line.
Their poop excuses are period cramps, I think. They're like, I'm so sorry. I can't. This biological block that I'm having.
There's this whole thing going on. Oh God. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, have you run into this in relationship of like just people just being on their phones too much? Like, whether you're just sitting there, like I've had friends, my wife doesn't do it because I've had to we talk about it, but like you're out to dinner on a date or something and someone's on their phone there, and you're like, just for maybe, hour or two, we could put it down or away. Like, it seems like it could be useful in that scenario too, because maybe people just need a reminder, like, hey, you've been on your phone like a lot during this date or whatever, or you've been in the bathroom for 20 minutes, I think people are going to start worrying about you. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's kind of like the courtesy knock, like, come on out. I don't know. I feel like when I'm at dinner with friends or whatever, like if I'm with two other friends, it's kind of like a table of three, but it's like a party of six because it's like the three of us, and then we've
and
got
then
like our
whoever's on your
phone.
phone. Yeah.
Then the phone sits there, and then so it's like, it kind of like the phone pops off and it becomes like a part of the conversation, like, oh, who was that? And what's going on in the group chat? So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, that's fair because and I would assume it's some sort of, setting thing. If you weren't in like, obviously this is specifically for your husband pooping, like that's a particular scenario.
This is the market for the invention.
Yeah,
but I think it should apply.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, and I'm sure kids on their phones or whatever, like that. You could be teens maybe doing the same thing.
Are you willing to shock teens?
They'd have to be teenage boys. Yeah. I think these are the dudes who are like, tase me. Let's see if it hurts. Like that. It's like, he'd be fine. Maybe not my 10-year-old, but as he gets older, maybe.
You're like, I'm willing to sign a waiver. If
that's that's a fine line of is that allowed or not? I don't know, but
we're on the fringe. We're on the fringe. That's why these are bad ideas, but they may be good ideas.
Yeah, I don't. We're just idea people, Somebody else has got to make it happen.
Somebody else has to work out the legalities of child abuse.
Yeah, or the science of it. I don't know how to make your phone shock you. So
yeah. Maybe it's just, maybe it's something else that's disappointing. Maybe it gets like gooey, or maybe it gets like moisture in the port.
Ew.
You know how it's always like, I detect moisture in your port, and you're like, all right, that's a little too much information. Thank you so much.
I detect moisture in your port.
Yeah, but
they can tell what you're watching, probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like it. I mean, I think you're onto something there for sure.
There's something there. There's something on some phone control that's a little bit more than just like the data report that they give you at the end of the week.
Right, yeah. Oh, you've been on your screen this much, and you're like, cool, it's not going to change. You're right. There's no consequence to it. So you're adding some sort of consequence to it.
That's right. In relation to that, I was also thinking, because I have two kids. I have like a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I have to put them to bed. And as you know, you're a mom. It takes like 4 hours to do that. Yes. I would like someone to put me to bed. So I'm wanting some sort of invention, or like not accountability partner, like a little bit more mean than that, like not a mom. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the deliverer is, but I want somebody that puts me to bed. After the kids are bed, they like put me in the bath. They do like a 10-point skincare routine. They do all my like hair regrowth serums and some sort of like, I don't know, story or Audible or a book I'm supposed to be reading, and I get force put to bed, maybe in some sort of like adult crib that I could crawl out of, but I'm like too lazy to crawl out of, so I'm just not going to. I just go to sleep instead of doom scrolling until 2:00 in the morning.
This is, I mean, yeah. Because I'm like constantly like, oh yeah, this is what I should do. I should go to bed now. I should, not have the TV on or whatever. Or, I put my phone away from me so that I'm not distracted by it or whatever. And with the bathing and stuff, the hygiene, as it sounds like I don't shower. There's plenty of times where I'm like, oh, I should wash my face, even if I don't have makeup on, but I should wash my face, but I just don't. Or I should moisturize and do the skincare or whatever, but you're like, I'm just want to watch TV or something. I mean, and that, I don't know if people without kids need that as much, because we did just do all the stuff for that, and then we're like, I don't have enough left to give to myself. But
I think everyone needs somebody to put them to bed. Everyone needs a looming presence. It's like, no,
always.
Brush and floss. You're going to brush and floss, and I'm going to stand here until you've done it. And then we have to like breathe in that person's mouth to like prove that we did everything.
Let me smell your hands. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's so dead odd. I mean, that is true. It is odd. Maybe you feel like this too as a parent, where you're like making them do so much shit that you don't do.
That's right.
Yeah, you need to make sure you're doing this and you whatever. Especially with the washing the hands and stuff. Like, my wife makes fun of me because if I have our bedroom is upstairs in like it's like a half story, so we have to go downstairs to go to the bathroom. So at night when you're tired, like I just go pee and then go back to. I don't wash my hands usually, and she's like, I didn't know you did that, and I was like, the germs are asleep. I don't know. I wash them in the morning, or during the day, but during that time, and if our son did that, I'd be like, ew, gross. What are you doing? Like I just don't hold myself to the same standards that I would most other people.
That's interesting. I'm bisexual, so I've always been, when I was dating a woman, I always was hyper strict about the hand washing because hands are a lot more involved in the woman sexual repertoire. So does your wife is not even like, she's not like, go back, don't come over here touching me with those hands, with those.
She has not brought it up. No, so. It hasn't been an issue either, so that's good. But I think, regardless of who you're hooking up with, as a parent, sex is happening earlier and earlier. Like either it's during the day when no one's there, she works remotely, or like finally they went to bed. If we don't do this now, we're just going to fall asleep. So there's less of me like, not taking care of myself, I suppose. I probably washed my hands before then.
Sorry, I was like, I don't know. Your wife actually did text me before this, and she's told me to tell you that hand washing thing is becoming an issue.
My phone shocks me now if I don't wash my hands. That's a good point. Yeah.
That's it. I got a couple. Okay. I got a couple TV shows.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
The first one is a political debate show, and I do take politics very seriously, so I don't want to make light of the complete presidential shit show that we have entered on that's been like unbelievably horrible and put us in a ridiculous situation as voters between two people that nobody really wants. However, in this political debate show, I believe that the Cheesecake Factory should run as a third-party candidate. Hear me out. All right. So you got Trump, you got the MAGA people, you got Biden, you got the 4 more years anti-MAGA people, and then you've got the knight in shining armor, the Cheesecake Factory, all right, who can really work across the aisle. Okay. The Cheesecake Factory has something for everyone. I consider it the great equalizer of restaurants. Nobody says no to the Cheesecake Factory.
That's true.
It's inclusive. It's multi-generational, family-friendly. It's rooted in dessert and also waiting. And it's got mall culture. It's got, I don't know, it's got kimchi, it's got elote.
It really, as far as the cuisine goes, it is over a spectrum. It's not just, one certain thing. It probably has a longer written menu than any speech either of those two are going to give. So that's, there's more information, I think, in that menu than anything we're going to find out. So.
That's right. The Cheesecake Factory website is pretty thorough on where it stands.
There's no questions. I think it would deliver on its promises too. Like that's 100%. Something we've been missing, I think, in politics. So you could just vote for the Cheesecake Factory. So what happens if the Cheesecake Factory wins, I suppose?
Well, I do think that the Cheesecake Factory would deliver on its promises because it has been delivering on all of its staff wearing all white for all of these years. And that's a good record. I mean, if you're going to put your wait staff in all white jumpsuits, I think you can run a tight ship here.
That's commitment. Yeah, that's not, I mean, they look like sailors, so yeah, they could run a tight ship. I don't know.
That's bold for a high spill area, So I don't know. What would the Cheesecake? I don't know. I mean, they've got technology, they've got the buzzers, they've got the headsets, they're equipped. It's basically like a naval operation in there.
It's a secure area, I feel like. I feel safer in the Cheesecake Factory than most places.
100%. It's bunker like.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you're in there, it's a different, you're like, okay, I can relax a little bit. It has
Yeah,
its own economy, I would assume.
the high booths, it's
Mm-hmm.
got like a whole full closure. All you do is like, what's that, like a safe room, like some
Yeah.
sort of door drops down, and then you're in there eating that delicious brown bread, and you're like, who cares what's going on
Brown
outside,
bread. So this show, it's a debate show. So
Yes.
is there like a representative for the Cheesecake Factory,
I,
or is
I'm
it
clearly the
just
representative. I'm clearly the campaign manager for the Cheesecake Factory. I mean, I don't want to take votes away from anyone. However, I think, we've got a couple good candidates to try to get us warmed up to the idea of a third party. And I think the Cheesecake Factory is as good as any.
I do think that is, if I was going to vote for a third party, that's definitely the top of my list. I think that's a good, like, you're right about us being like, oh, here's two options that nobody actually really wants. I almost feel like you should have to be able to beat the Cheesecake Factory to be involved. Like that's, if no one wants to pick you versus the Cheesecake Factory, that's not a great, And so then we might get ourselves out of this whole mess if it's like, there's probably only a few actual, I don't even know who it would be, but that could be right now. I think most people would vote for the Cheesecake Factory now that we're talking about it. Like, I don't know.
It's got a strong possibility. I really think it can work across the aisles, find compromise, bring people together. It could reunite the United States. And I really think that's what the Cheesecake Factory would say in a debate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
maybe
I
you
mean,
can moderate it,
they
maybe
have a
it's
good
like
point.
just a strong moderator of the debate, and then somebody raises their hand and says, why don't you run? Kind of like Jon Stewart, or,
Right. Yep.
just like, okay, if, Jon Stewart's not going to run, why not the Cheesecake Factory? And I don't know. Who do you think would be the spokesperson? Like the hostess? I mean, she's the one kind of running the thing.
Yeah. Or is it like the manager who's been there for a long time, and is really, bought in and stuck to the structure that is, they don't really change much, and I think that's a great point in politics now, is this like wishy-washy, I said this, but I'm doing this, it's the consistency. So I think maybe a spokesperson who, because I don't want the, whoever, the CEO or any of that, I don't need that.
No.
But someone who's been in the factory, for that amount of time and understands what their actual day-to-day belief is. That's who I want to hear from.
The AOC of Cheesecake Factory, of CCF, the AOC of the CCF. Yes, I think it would be like the general manager that's really committed to the franchise. He knows all the training videos. He's got like those like tight mutton chops. He's working the room, making sure everybody's got water refills.
Mm-hmm. That's maybe like, when they open a new store or something, like he often goes and helps them get it set up because he knows how to run things, and then comes back. Right. Yeah, I want the consistency and the longevity.
Real hands-on leader.
That guy. Yes.
Worked his way up.
Yeah. We need somebody who's worked hard. I don't need.
100%.
I want to. I'll be honest, if you're listening and you're like, I'm not voting for either of these two idiots, I'm just going to write somebody in, please write in the Cheesecake Factory. Just because if you're going to throw the vote somewhere else, I do think you should consider that. I just am imagining that, like, report on wherever, and they're like, oh, Biden and Trump here. And then, surprisingly, the next highest percentage is the Cheesecake Factory.
That's it. And then we just crack the door open, for like an action, for like a human to be in there.
Yeah.
I think it's it. We're making changes in the system here.
I think this is the best idea we've ever had on this show.
I know this is supposed to be bad ideas, but I really had some good ones here.
That's pretty good. Okay. We have time for maybe one more if you got it.
Oh, what do I got?
You don't have to, because I'm very invested in this Cheesecake Factory situation. So.
Okay, I have a quick one and then a more in-depth one. Okay, my quick one is, the show Kitchen Nightmares?
Yeah. But that's
Okay,
Gordon
so
Ramsay too, right?
Kitchen Nightmares is a horrible rundown kitchen and some sort of like whack, you know, what are those called? Like strip mall. And Gordon Ramsay goes in there and finds like, you know, horrible E. coli chicken and cusses everybody out and then
Right,
flips the
yells at
restaurant
everyone. Yeah.
to be a functioning restaurant. Okay, it's like Kitchen Nightmare, but instead of a failed restaurant being turned over to Gordon Ramsay, it's a failed U.S. government getting turned over to Black and brown women for like 8 to 20 years. And they go in there, they unpack the boxes, they open up all the documents, they cuss everybody out, they like
Yes.
they toss out all of the like old chicken and slimy shrimp, and it's all very public. And then they just
We put it on the Food Network. It's great.
just flip it. They just flip it, and they're like, this is a flaming pile of garbage shit at this, and this shopping center of America that we live in deserves better.
I think you're onto something in that more people involved in those situations need to be cussed out. Like no one's getting yelled at enough up there. I mean, I know they're fighting with each other, but I mean, you need somebody's mom to come in and have had enough and, you know, just start being honest. I like it. I think it's worth it. I mean, it's either that or the Cheesecake Factory. So I don't know what, you know.
That's it. Okay. So my last one is, I've been, you know, obviously following, I live in California. So Kamala Harris is trying to do her best to get us all on the Biden Harris train with women's rights, which I'm obviously pro women's rights. However, I've been following all the Roe v. Wade, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's my invention. This is one thing I talk about in my comedy too, about how during the pandemic, it was so weird and wild how quickly we came up with all these vaccines for this global pandemic. And I'm like, obviously there's like profits involved and like saving lives, whatever. But it makes me so angry that we haven't been able to come up with a way to get men pregnant so that we can continue on with our thriving careers uninterrupted, not microaggressed. I think it's a total medical possibility to get non-birthing bodies pregnant with babies. Dad bods are in. Let's take dad bods to the next level. All right. Yeah. Get those babies in there. Let them stay home. You know, I will rub a man's feet so that I don't have to interrupt my entire life to birth kids. I think we can do it.
I think that's great, and for some reason that's connecting very well to the pooping situation of like, hey man, you're gonna be here, not doing anything anyways. Why don't if you're gonna have kids, you can do that.
I will shut off your poop shock phone device if you carry the children to the family. I think it's a fair trade.
Absolutely. I've always, of course, felt like we really got painted in a corner as far as the parenting thing goes, you know. There's just you're the only one who can have it, so you got to do, you know, like that's or then you're judged for not wanting to do that or whatever. And okay, well then let's even it out here, fellas.
Yeah, I'm not saying take that experience away from birthing bodies and
we're opening it up to everybody.
Open it up. Yeah, this is an equal opportunity joy, and I would love for men to experience the beautiful moment of having open abdominal surgery while they're awake. I think that is two of the most stunning days of my life is watching my own surgery.
Did they take it out and put it back in, kind of thing?
Yeah. And I think that men should be able to experience that. And you know what? We'll put some breast implants, get the milk going. We've got all sorts of things, and I think it's gonna be great. The men are resilient. They're not too emotional, so they probably wouldn't have postpartum depression. It would just be 100% C-sections, efficient.
Right. I was gonna say that would be.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's make the business of birth a reality. This is it.
I think you could really, if you packaged it the correct way, could really sell this to a conservative side of things too. As long as, I mean, they would push back, of course, but if you reframe it into like, do this for your family, like be a man and, step up.
Pro-life on protein powder.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's make kids. Let's double the amount of kids that we're making,
Yeah, you love birth.
Let's force everybody to have all the kids.
So
everybody.
many kids.
Double this production. It's going to be great. And then all the guys have to go back to work after 4 weeks. So, we're not giving out any handouts.
Oh, yeah, that's not. And if there's any mishaps, this Roe v. Wade thing has. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, figure it out. Sorry, you got pregnant in your vas deferens. I don't even know what a vas deferens is. You can't have a baby in a vas deferens.
You got to do it. Yeah,
that's it.
I think it's the little tube in the testicles. Anyways, I paid attention in sex ed. I'm from Washington State. We have comprehensive sexual education. It's good. I didn't notice the difference until I became an adult and was like, oh, you don't know anything. Great. Okay, cool. That's great. But that might help too, because I feel like fellas maybe not paying as much attention during some of that. If their bodies could do the same thing, then it's like, hey, you're going to need to know this.
You are going to need to know this. That's 100% sure. So, yeah, I think that's good. I mean, that might be more of a controversial pitch than a dumb pitch, but I don't know. I think
engagement is engagement. We'll see. Comment what you think. How about that?
If we put it on the cheesecake menu.
Yeah, if that's part of the platform that the cheesecake campaign is using.
Page 39, the Cheesecake Factory menu.
Is birthing opportunities for everyone.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Okay. It's very pro-life. Okay. This has been so much fun. Thank you. These were fantastic ideas. I don't know how, not that they have to pick, but I don't know how they're going to pick their favorite. Okay. Thank you for being here. Where can people find you, follow you? Where can they remind about when the album comes out and all that stuff?
Yeah, people can find me on Instagram at Emily Van Dyke, just like DYKE Van Dyke. And yeah, the album comes out on February 9th. It's called Feeling Myself. It's like some of my favorite jokes and stories from my first 12 years of comedy. So I hope it's going to be a real crack up for people as they're driving or jogging or hopefully not with their children. So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, Feeling Myself on Apple Music, on blondemedicine.com, the label website, Bandcamp, and streaming at all your
favorite streaming places. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, yeah, give her a follow. Check out the new album. If you're watching us here on YouTube, you can subscribe or join our memberships if you want these episodes early and ad-free. And there's other shit on there too. Is that good, bitch? And maybe you're listening. You can rate, review, subscribe, all those things on Apple or Spotify or whatever. But right now, you can just keep watching Dumb Pitches.
You're weird.
Yes.